And we're coming back to the breaking news. President Joe Biden allows Ukraine to strike Russia with long-range U.S. missiles. That reports the New York Times, citing American officials. With 2 months left in office, the president, for the first time, authorized the Ukrainian military to use the system known as ATACMS to help defend its forces in the Kursk region of Russia. And joining me to discuss this topic is Jowanka Jakubek-Lalik, Associate Professor at the Faculty of Law and Administration at the University of Warsaw. Welcome. Good to have you, Jowanka.
Good evening. Thank you.
So, what is the weight of this long-awaited by the Ukrainian decision, and how can it change the spectrum of the war in Ukraine?
Well, we are in 1,000 days since Russia launched the full-scale military attack on Ukraine. So indeed, it seems to be a very important point of this war. And in 2 months, everybody can wake up in a different reality because of Donald Trump taking the office in the United States, which means that indeed there is not too much time to try to change the situation. Indeed, the decision of the American authorities seems to give Ukrainian government, Ukrainian army the leverage, the possibility to try to influence, to impact the situation, especially that Russian troops, also supported by North Korean troops, are making some gains in the operation against Ukrainian forces. So this seems to be a very crucial moment to indeed give this kind of additional possibilities to fight for the Ukrainian army.
So that would mean that you're expecting Donald Trump to overturn the decision taken today by Joe Biden?
Well, I'm expecting that something unexpected might happen, which means that Donald Trump could reverse this policy of the United States, but at the same time we can expect some other solutions, especially that many Republican Party members and members of Senate and House of Representatives are actually very supportive towards Ukraine. So Trump's presidency, still we don't know to what extent he will change the policies of the current American government, because Donald Trump claims that he will end this war very soon. However, still he did not explain how he's going to do that. And indeed, we still don't know how the situation might change since January.
Stunning dynamics, right? We just witnessed the phone call by Olaf Scholz talking to Putin. Now we are witnessing the decision taken by Joe Biden, even though for many, many months he's been sticking to the Sullivan doctrine, not allowing Ukrainians to strike back deep in the Russian territory. So what might have been the influence, the direct influence for Joe Biden to taking such a decision in your mind?
Well, of course, we don't know everything. We don't have all the information that the American president has access to when he's making this kind of decisions. What we know is that indeed we are expecting the change in power in American politics, which also will for sure influence the situation in the Russian-Ukrainian war. To what extent and in which direction, we are still not certain.
We don't know because we have not heard yet any confirmation or comments from the Ukrainian side and Ukrainian authorities, but we might imagine that the Ukrainians are ready, as they have been pushing for months to be granted such a decision. So do you think they are ready? They only have 2 months left.
Indeed, they have been pushing and they were expecting this kind of decision. So I would also expect that the leaders of the Ukrainian army and the Ukrainian government has some scenarios ready to use this kind of weapons. But again, we still lack precise information to assess to what extent those kind of operations could be successful.
Okay, so remains to be seen. This is a huge information indeed, and remains to be seen what can happen in hours to come. And now, if you permit, if I may, we will come back to Warsaw, to Poland, where the Civic Platform and Civic Coalition is organizing the starting pre-run election inside the party, thinking about who is better suited to handle the uncertain times ahead. So this question members of Poland's Civic Coalition are asking themselves today, the Friday. They plan to announce their nominee for president ahead of the election in May next year. And the big question remains Trzaskowski or Sikorski. Both seem pro-European, pro-American. They have similar views on most of the issues politically. So how do they differ?
Well, both candidates are, let's say, very well prepared to take this position. Both have a very good international experience, also domestic experience in policies. I think that what is actually about this primaries in the civic platform is try to also make the situation more dynamic, to make also the electorate more interested in these elections. Because let's not forget that Poland is in last months actually experiencing one electoral campaign after the other. So we started in late 2023 with the parliamentary elections, then we had local elections, which were also very important, and then the elections to the European Parliament. So this is, let's say, election number 4, which is again of a crucial importance. So we need to, let's say, make the electorate still interested and ready to vote and try to gain support to the party candidates. So indeed, the situation, I think, might provide some more dynamics to how the candidates are perceived, and also what Prime Minister and the party leader Donald Tusk has explained. If any of the candidates win, he will be supported by all the strength of the party and the leaders. So it is not, let's say, the competition indeed between the two, which might affect the final result, but more, let's say, try to find the best candidate to suit the expectations of the electorate.
As you rightly pointed out, it's the 4th election in Poland and the second duel of Trzaskowski and Sikorski, because 4 years ago they also they had this duel, in fact, inside the party, and Sikorski lost to Rafał Trzaskowski in the CPE primaries. Sikorski claims today that times have changed. Do you think he can win this time?
Well, it remains to be seen. I think that both of the candidates, Rafał Trzaskowski and Radosław Sikorski, they have very substantial support. Of course, it will probably depend whom we ask, and we will have different opinions, which might prove to be a better leader. However, both of them, again, are very experienced politicians, and it will for sure, whoever will be chosen by the party members in this primary will have the proper qualifications to lead the country.
Qualifications for certain, but it remains to be seen who can win with another candidate. For example, of the PiS, right? PiS contender. We don't know the name yet, but who has more chance of winning against a PiS candidate in your view? There's also the third way speaker of the same, Szymon Hołownia candidate. So who is better suited to confront one of them?
As you mentioned, we still don't know who is going to the opposition candidate in this presidential elections. So without this knowledge, it is very difficult to assess which candidate will be, let's say, better equipped to win in these elections. So I think that the situation is still quite dynamic, and we need to wait until the, let's say, full list of the candidates will be ready. And then again, the situation in the United States, the global situation, the security issues, I think there are so many determinants that we are still not aware how they will be changing throughout the way, that the situation might be very, very different in 2-3 months from now. So every party that is competing in this election, in every candidate which is competing in this election, they need to make very cautious decisions and also properly prepare their agenda and what they will provide in the election campaign, in order for the people to trust them with this very important presidential office.
The decision is to be taken on Friday next week, and the announcement on Saturday. Thank you very much, Jowanka, Jakubek-Lalik. Thank you for your comments and for your insight. And this concludes this edition of World News Tonight. Make sure to stay with TVP World for more news and features. Thank you for watching.